Hello everyone, welcome to those who haven't been here before, welcome back to those who have watched before. Thanks for coming again. My name is Leah Langley and WWDC 2025 was today. Let's go over it. There was a lot of new stuff announced. If you don't know, WWDC is like their worldwide developers conference. It's like a whole several days of events going on for like developers really, but it's where they preview the new software that we're going to see in the autumn when they kind of do their their fall autumn event like in September, October usually. So let's jump right in. We started out at Apple Park as is typical, where they're just like a video keynote type thing. They reminded us about Apple Intelligence if you didn't know already, talking to us a little bit about that and some of the things they've been able to do so far. But we jump right in with the new designs that everyone has predicted coming, which is like this liquid glass design that's coming, which is really exciting because they mentioned on the keynote that we haven't had a big major redesign since iOS 7, which was in 2013. I remember when that came out, how much everyone was so excited for that, and it was like a whole new thing. It was awesome. And now it's finally time for a new design. So liquid glass is where they're coming from. It's inspired from visionOS, like fluidity, and I'm gonna try to put some like B-roll footage here from the keynote. It looks really nice, and it looks like something that will it's something that's like unified across all the devices, which is also a nice thing. That way it's like, the one thing I like about Apple products is like you can pick up a device and it's like you can know how to use it kind of just from maybe having an iPhone. You can kind of easily figure out how to work an iPad or a Mac or something like that because it's kind of continuous. Something else that they're doing with the unifying of the displays and the designs is also unifying the names. So everything is going to be like OS 26 starting now, basically. Instead of like, we would have had like iOS 19, or we would have had like iPadOS 8 or watchOS 8 or tvOS 3. Everything's just going to be OS 26, essentially, going by the year that we're in or the year that the products are mostly going to be used at. So that's what's happening. That's what we're doing. Like I said, basically starting now. So everything on these updates we're going to go over are iOS 26, watchOS 26, macOS 26, whatever. Let's jump right in though to the first thing they covered, which has sprinkles of everything and every other device basically that we're going to be talking about later. iOS, the one most people get to use on their iPhones. Again, with this liquid glass redesign, we start kind of looking at the lock screen and the home screen, some updates there. There's a new style option, which is all clear, which they were kind of previewing. In addition to like, the light and dark mode, you can have this all clear kind of glassy mode. On the lock screen wallpapers, they were showing some things to kind of how they could work your wallpapers to kind of best fit the screen, some 3D options, and also new music animations that are full screen that look really nice. There's some camera updates, simplified design, kind of just keeping with like photo and video being the only things you see, and you can swipe for more options in terms of cinematic, pano, swipe up for like certain things like aperture or other kind of bits in the camera that a lot of people don't always use. So kind of just keeping it simple. Updates to like photo, Safari, FaceTime, but nothing really worth going over at this time. The phone app is getting some updates. So there's a unified layout coming, which is nice, kind of like a new thing. You see your favorites at the top, kind of easy to click and go through. There's voicemail summaries with Apple Intelligence. I might refer to Apple Intelligence as AI in this talk here, which could be Apple Intelligence AI or just like AI as you would think, which is basically, that's what it is. But they call it Apple Intelligence, as Apple likes to have names for things. Also in the phone, there's call screening coming and hold assist. Call screening is like, if you haven't heard of it before, but basically someone could be calling an unknown number and they could screen the call for you essentially and see if you want to answer or not. Holding assist, if you're waiting for like a live agent, you're on the phone with someone for help and you're in, when hold music comes up, they can give you a suggestion to basically hold the call for you and alert you when it's time to hop back on. All nice things. So new updates coming to messages, backgrounds coming to messages, which should be fun. Something you could choose that both you and the person you're messaging will be able to basically see. You can like have your own things, but looks nice. Polls in the group chats. Also, they can give you ones you can just make on your own, but also with AI and Apple Intelligence, it can detect if you want to start a poll for like, what time we're going to dinner, those kind of like questions that you have in group chats instead of having a whole bunch of responses all over the place. Typing indicators are coming to group chats, which is nice. The kind of ellipses that you don't get in group chats is nice to see. Also some screening tools coming to messages in terms of trying to like get rid of some of those unknown senders that you don't really need to see all the time. Live translations coming to the phone app, FaceTime app, and Messages app. They showed some different options of how this is going to work, and it looks really nice. And I think it'll be really great for people who obviously have people in their lives who don't speak the language they speak, or you don't speak their language. All types of good stuff that can help you stay connected to people. Apple Music, some nice things coming in here. Lyric translation and pronunciation, which I think is really cool, because sometimes when you listen to certain songs and it's like, oh, I want to know what this exactly means. And again, if you don't know the language, you might have to like go out of the app or whatever it is. But in here, they're kind of baked in, which is nice. The pronunciation piece as well, because knowing how to say it correctly and going with what the music is feeling, I guess. Auto Mix, which can use Apple Intelligence to kind of like be like a DJ to go from one song to the next. Music pins, pin your favorites at the top, artist, playlist, those kind of things. Jumping into Maps, Maps can learn your preferences basically for like certain routes you like, things like that, and adjust as needed. Wallet, you can get Passport as a digital ID now. You can use it on domestic travel at participating TSA locations in the States here. Airport map, and your boarding pass, straight from the boarding pass in your wallet. Like you can pull up an airport map, which I like. Sometimes when you have those connections in airports you don't really go to, it's like, okay, where exactly am I going? If you need like a quick little look, that's nice. You can also get your like Find My, if you have like a Find My thing for your luggage right through the boarding pass. Just nice little bits. Visual intelligence updates. Right now, visual intelligence on the phone, it's like you can click the action button and point it at something, and it could like tell you like what this thing is. Now you could screenshot something on your phone and pull up visual intelligence as an option in terms of saying like, where can I get this jacket, or I want to know where this lamp's from, or ask it a question on ChatGPT or something like that. All kind of updates there. Look pretty nice. Next up here we have watchOS 26. One of the biggest things they announced was Workout Buddy, which is like, it's in certain types of workouts, and it's like this generative speech that can give you pep talks, mark key moments, celebrate accomplishments. In the preview they were showing is there's a person running and there's this person speaking. You can choose different voices, and they actually said they kind of use from the Fitness Plus trainers to kind of create some of these voices, and they can, like I said, give you talk during your workouts. There's a new design to the workout app. Wrist flick gesture is a new gesture to how to deal with notifications and kind of get them away. That adds to the double tap feature we have. Message features from iOS, so those backgrounds, translation, all those kind of things. Notes is coming to the Watch app. That's brand new. Nice. If sometimes you want to just quickly glance at a note, sometimes it'd be nice to have. I've definitely thought about that, so that's a nice feature, and that's basically it with watchOS. tvOS, we have profiles, which you can choose on Wake. I like that because sometimes with tvOS, obviously it's a shared TV in certain times, and it's like I can make sure I'm watching what I want to watch and pick right back up where I'm left off. I think that's nice, especially for me in my life. It's like you're messing up my preferences watching different things. This was what I'm trying to focus on, so I think that's cool. In the music app, they have something where you could sing along through the phone. Like your phone becomes like a microphone, and as you're singing, and the louder you go, I think some emojis can come on the screen and things like that to kind of like have that stuff. Cool. Other stuff in tvOS, but not really too much to go over at this point that is really that important for you to know, I feel like. visionOS, kind of similar to tvOS. Widgets are coming. That's cool. Other enhancements, like you can keep the things you place in visionOS in the same place instead of them like moving every time you refresh. I don't have an Apple Vision Pro, so I don't really know much about this. It's still interesting to hear about, but I don't really have too much to say here. Next is macOS 26. So the name of the macOS this time, they always do this whole big thing on the name. This year it's Tahoe. Again, reinforcing this whole like liquid glass design that they have again throughout all the devices. One thing I really liked, you could change the color of folders and add emojis like as icons to your folders. I'm in blue right now, but I'm a very pink person. I think of my nails currently. And I very much would like to have like my folders be pink, some of them at least, and things like that. So right away I was like, oh, this is great. And I could put emojis on it as well. Very nice. Some continuity updates for macOS. Live activities coming. They give an example of like, let's say you order Uber Eats and it can come up on your Mac, and if you click that little like live activity on the Mac, it pulls up iPhone mirroring right away, which is nice. iPhone mirroring is so slept on. I feel like I even forget about it sometimes, and then just even recently I was using it the other like week, and I was like, this is really great. I need to use this more. So that's great. The phone app is coming to Mac, which is again another exciting feature. Those updates that we had before in the phone app in iOS are coming, and it looks actually really kind of nice. Shortcuts is getting updates with intelligent actions. The thing about shortcuts, I was saying some of the things I was hearing from before, but also kind of in the keynote a little bit. Shortcuts, you can maybe do some like more natural language, because again with this intelligence like boost, instead of it maybe it being like so the way it is now, which I feel like some people don't use shortcuts as much. Spotlight, which is like Mac's search tool, was getting its biggest update ever, which is very good because people who use Spotlight, I don't use it that often, but it's not amazing. There's other great search tools out there that you can use, but Spotlight, things can look interesting. So intelligent suggestions based on routines or what you're working on, quick keys that you can press in Spotlight. For example, like you can type SM and it could say send message, and it right away gives you, a prompt to send message. You can even send an email or things like that through Spotlight without having to like open up mail if you type in certain things, and you just, fill in contact, what you want to say quickly. And I probably wouldn't put a long email on there, but a quick little sentence or so. But even so, like maybe send a text. I don't know. You could filter search results on Spotlight. Something I also liked they had was you could be, let's say you're opening pages and you want to like do a menu item or menu tool. You could search that in Spotlight and it can bring that up, and you could do it right from Spotlight instead of having to like scroll through format and try to find what you're trying to find. Nice. Clipboard history, which is basically like what you copy and paste. Like if I pasted something from a couple hours ago, well, what was that thing I want to put in this document? I could find it on my clipboard history in Spotlight. Another little nice features to kind of help it do better. And same with a lot of these products we've been talking about. Lots of other stuff from iOS, like I said before, like messages, updates coming, the screening things coming, all types of good stuff coming into macOS, all those apps and things we have. Next up here, we have iPadOS 26. The phone app is coming to the iPad as well, which is nice. Again, the updates we talked about before kind of on iOS are going to be replicated on iPadOS, which would be nice. Something big coming is a new multitasking updates to kind of help improve that. It's a whole new window tiling system, which I'm going to try to put footage in here. That looks really, really sweet. The thing I like about the multitasking, that they have it currently in a version on the iPads out now. I don't really use it pretty much ever. I do use like the tiling system, which that's still going to be in there in terms of like flicking a window to the side and pulling it towards the edge. But I don't use the current one that much, and who knows if I'll use this one that much. But it looks nice, and I like kind of some of the things they've added to it. There's been some criticisms before of iPads, how they kind of keep it stuck. Like they can be so much more, like similar to Mac, but obviously they want you to maybe buy a Mac and an iPad. They've certainly been successful with me. But yeah, the updates look really cool, and hopefully the footage is in there you could see as I'm talking here. There will also be a menu bar on the iPad, which will be ever present, which is nice. I think it's kind of like, well, they said ever present, but I wonder if it's like in certain apps, or if you can flick it away or whatever it is. But that's nice because I think menu bars I'm a menu bar supporter, so that's nice to have an iPad. And every iPad that runs iPadOS 26 will have this, which is another thing I was thinking about. I was like, I wonder if this is like only for the Pro iPads, or like, will the iPad Mini be like available to get these things? It's such a smaller screen, but everything is getting it, which is really nice. Probably obviously different levels of efficiency and size and all that, but everything's getting the new window tiling system, which is awesome. Files, new update to the Files app, which I was using as I was sitting watching this keynote. I was like updating things I needed on my Files app as I was trying to go along to knowing I was going to make this video. Updated list view, collapsible folders, custom colors and icons again from macOS coming into iPadOS on the Files app, which is, again, it's going to be kind of continuous over all of your devices, which is awesome. I assume it would be the same thing for the Files app in the iPhone. You can pick what app you want to open a file with. Sometimes you click an app, a file on there, and opens up something automatically. It's like, no, I want it to go in Photoshop, or I want it to go here. That's nice. You can put folders in your dock now, which is really nice. Maybe those folders you're using all the time, put them right in the dock. They can open up kind of easily and look nice, and you can drag things from there easily, things like that, which is nice. Something I'm really excited about coming to the iPad, which when they said this, I literally was like, woo! Preview is coming to the iPad. Preview is a Mac app like for PDFs, and it's coming to the iPad, and it's so great. Preview, I didn't know how much I appreciated Preview until when you don't have Preview available to you, like if you, let's say like for your work or something like that, you're using not a Mac computer, it's like, where's my Preview? I need to be able to edit my PDFs. Why doesn't everyone just have this baked in? Preview is like one of my favorite apps. I use it all the time, and having it on the iPad is great to be able to like edit PDFs easily. And still now, it's still easy to edit PDFs easy. I guess an iPad with an Apple Pencil certainly as well. But yeah, I'm excited to have the preview app because I think it'll be just like a little bit easier, even in terms of like continuity on things or whatever it is. I'm excited to have it. I'm all for it. They had some other updates in terms of like audio and video updates, live capture, which is something that looks interesting. I need to like learn more about that live capture, but they kind of gave a good little overview of it in general. But nice things there. Audio input selector. They were trying to targeting like pros in this kind of sense and people who podcast or kind of do certain things. Kind of make it easier for them to do all that. They're mentioning how AirPods Pros or just AirPods in general are good for studio sounding quality in terms of audio, stuff like that. So all that good stuff. They were promoting their own devices and their own products, of course. But yeah, that is really the quick roundup of WWDC. Really, the header of this whole event was just feeling like new design, liquid glass. They were going over every product, every OS coming up with this unified look, unifying names. These will make it, I think, easier for people to kind of track like what software system they're on, things like that. I think that's nice that they're doing that, and yeah, it looks really good. I'm excited to keep, like I said, playing with the OSs when we actually get them. The beta will be out today for developers. The public beta is out in July, and then it will be out to everybody in autumn when they do these announcements for the products the hardware we're actually gonna see. Because Apple, again, they spoke about how pairing hardware with software to make the best product possible, essentially, and that's what they are about. So yeah, that is the quick little WWDC roundup. I feel like those are like the important notes you want to kind of focus on. Let me know your thoughts on WWDC. Do you have anything that you are most looking forward to using in these features that were announced today? Any other thing from WWDC you want to talk about? Mention them in the comments below. If I'm your Apple girly here, I'm Apple everything. So I always like watching these events and talking to you guys about them. So drop them below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.